Coming up, I build an amazing gold farm on the Nether Roof. I also break a bit of bedrock, as well as crafting myself a rather fancy lava-proof suit. Oh, and I added a handful of new mods. Let's create piglins and zombified piglins. That's what we're going to be doing today, and in the last video we built this incredible netherite factory that produces netherite, and I've got 6 of them. Actually, I've got 50 blocks of it now, all thanks to this lovely farm. But this farm isn't working 100%. You see, we've got plenty of cinder flour, we've got plenty of obsidian dust, which means we've got plenty of netherite dust, and we've got plenty of ancient scrap. We've even got plenty of XP, but we've got no gold. And that's because turning quartz into gold is not very efficient. So we need a new way of getting gold. And in order to do that, we need to go to the Nether. And I think this is the perfect building to do that. It also means we're going to need to go through the Nether Roof. And to do that, I'm going to need some obsidian, some netherrack, some trapdoors, some levers, and most importantly, some TNT. I'm also going to need some ladders and some ender pearls, which I don't have many of. And coming back into this building, we're going to need a big old portal, which I've already built. And as you can see, I've surrounded it with netherite blocks because I'm netherite rich. So let's get this portal lit and find out where we're going to come out. Before I do that, let me just pop down a warp plate. We're going to need one of these, and I need the little bit of flint out the middle. Now we're going to go into the Nether and find that we're surrounded by oh, that's useful, isn't it? Oh, this is very useful place to come out into the Nether. Let's just get rid of a little bit of this lava. And there we go, we're a little bit safer. So we need to get up to the Nether Roof, but I'm not sure what part of the Nether we're in. So let's use a little bit of free cam, have a bit of a fly around and see what's going on. We're not too far from my lava farm, just up a few blocks, which means we really don't have too far to go to get to the Nether Roof. So I think digging up could be a good plan. And here we go, now we've found some bedrock. But we need this bedrock to be 1 block thin, so I probably need to do a little bit of digging around it so that we can find a good spot. And something like this would probably be ideal, because I'm pretty sure that's about as high up as we can go. So let's grab ourselves some ladders, get on these ladders, chuck up an ender pearl, and there we go. We're now above the Nether Roof. That's very convenient. And I want the hole that we're going to be making to be directly above that little hole that I've made. So these 4 blocks here are directly above my little hole that I've just dug. So let's get rid of some of this bedrock. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm going to need a bunch of pistons too. And we'll start with this spot just here. We put a piston there, we put a bit of obsidian there, we put a bit of netherrack there, we put a TNT there, a TNT there, we put a trapdoor there, and we put a lever there. And then all I need to do is hold some pistons. If I flap that trapdoor, I can go underneath, and then I just flick that lever, aim on, and I've ruined it. Oh, jeez. Start again. Let's try that again. Piston, netherrack, TNT, TNT, lever, trapdoor. Right, we'll do it right this time. Flip the trapdoor, flip the lever. Oh, I popped out again. Quick. So far, this isn't going well. Okay, 3rd time lucky. Piston, netherrack, TNT, TNT, lever, trapdoor. Go under the trapdoor. This time, don't come out of being under the trapdoor. Flick the lever, put aim just there, and hopefully with a bit of luck, boom. We should have, underneath that, a hole. I did it, guys. I made a hole in the bedrock, and now we can get... Oh, geez, I can't get down. And you might be asking, why are you building a hole in the roof when you've got warp plates and waystones? Well, that's a good question. I don't need to at all, but I want to, because it'd be really cool to have an elevator that comes all the way down through the Nether, all the way up into here. And at some point today, I'm going to need power. To break the rest of this bedrock, I don't need to do that trick anymore. You see this backpack that I'm wearing? The handy traveler's backpack has a trick up its sleeve, and that's that it can put out a bed. And because I'm using the carry-on mod, what I can actually do is move this backpack away from its bed and put it down somewhere else. And now when I do that and I put some blocks in front of it, it still thinks that's the bed. And when you pick it up properly, boop, the blocks disappear and the bag goes on your back because it thinks it's still got a bed. So I can duplicate beds doing this, and I can also break bedrock. So let's put it down here. Let's pick it up. Let's pop it down there. If I try and pick it up properly to get my sleeping bag back, boom, the bedrock has gone. How very cheaty. You're not allowed to do that. That's cheating. Nope, I'm using the tools at my disposal, mate, in order to achieve the things I want to achieve. Just might take me a few minutes. So now I've got a big hole in the top layer, I need to now get rid of these next layers. And that really shouldn't be too difficult, just following the same process that we've just done. Put down a bed, grab the bag, put the bag down, move away a bit, pick up the bag, and there we go. More bedrock just gone. But where does it go? And what about all of these sleeping bags that I'm duplicating? Does that mean I've now got 3 sleeping bags? Well, no, they just disappear when I get rid of them. So I'm not duplicating anything. In fact, I'm just losing blocks. I'm losing all of this bedrock. So after a few more beds to break the bedrock, I'm now down. We've got a big old hole down here, which means that we can add in elevators and power and all that sort of stuff, which is fantastic. But what I do want to do is throw down a warp plate, take that out of there, pop that in there, and now I don't actually need that nether portal at all, because I can just pop out here, which is very convenient. And now I can pop back in there and appear here, which is also very convenient. And what I could do is I could even put a waystone down and call it the Nether Roof, and now when I click on there, I can go anywhere I want, and then I can head back to the Nether Roof, which is also very convenient. So we got a whole bunch of different ways in and out of the Nether Roof now. But what are we going to do up here? Well, a piglin farm, obviously. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about the last video. You see, in the last video, I asked you what mods you want me to add to this world and what builds you want me to do, and I had more comments than I've ever had before. But before we start talking about what mods I'm going to be adding to this world, I want to talk to you about the plan. You see, the most requested build idea I got was to make a diamond factory, a little bit like my netherite factory there. So, I've been fiddling with my own mod again in order to help us achieve that in a not very cheaty way. Because you see, farming diamonds is quite a cheaty thing to do, but then so is farming netherite. And I think if you do it in the right way, then it's not quite so cheaty. Other highly requested plans were to build an airport, a zoo, and a factory for all of the different create items. And whilst an airport isn't immediately on my list, and neither is a zoo, I am planning on doing a factory for all of the create things. So I'm definitely going to do that. So that just leaves what mods I'm adding, and we'll talk about that in a little while, because right now it's time to head back to the Nether and build that zombified piglin farm. So if I understand things correctly, which I probably don't, a zombified piglin farm is just a big old circle up in the sky that zombified piglins can spawn on, then you anger them, they all run towards you, and then they fall down a hole, and then you kill them for their gold. But that's not very create. But before we do anything like that, we need somewhere for them to spawn. But we don't want to be building that directly over this portal, we really need to be building it a little bit further away, so let's head off in this direction a little bit, and then build upwards. So I'm just going to place some blocks randomly every few blocks. No doubt ghasts and things will spawn on those and make my life miserable, but that's okay. Actually, I've got a lot of gravel, and whilst gravel is spawnable, I can now make gravel layers, and I'm very much hoping with these new blocks that I've added in my mod pack, although that's not available on the download yet, you'll have to wait a while. But I didn't just create new gravel layers, I also created sand layers, which can be piled up, as well as mud layers, and mangrove roots layers, and grass layers, and rooted dirt layers, coarse dirt layers, and dirt layers, and this is going to help me a lot when terraforming new areas. And there's another type that I created as well, but we'll get to that another time. So now that we're 64 blocks away from our hole over there, I'm going to go upwards and just see how tall the actual nether roof is, because I don't know. 255 is the building height. Okay, in that case, we'll come down to level 200 and we'll build our platform up here. And I'm going to put a warp plate down here, get rid of my big old tower that I've just made, and just put a temporary warp plate down here instead, so that we can hop up and down there pretty easily. But we don't want this platform to be spawnable, so let's throw down some blackstone slabs. Why didn't you just make it out of slabs? I don't know, because I'm an idiot. And speaking of slabs, wouldn't it be nice if we had grass slabs and dirt slabs and gravel slabs and sand slabs? Well, I have. See, I can make sand slabs, I can make gravel slabs, I can make dirt slabs, and I can make grass slabs. I can even make coarse dirt slabs, and what's really good about these slabs is, well, they work like slabs. They don't have gravity like other gravity blocks, which is fine, I don't really want them to have gravity. But again, this is really going to help me out. No, I'm falling down. But again, this is really going to help me out with my terraforming. And what's really nice about these slabs is if they're at the top layer, like that one there and these two, I can put flowers on them, but not the gravel one. But I can even put it on sand, so we can have sandy flowers. Anyway, that's enough talking about slabs. So next, I need to build the big old spawning platform where the zombified piglins are going to spawn, and that's going to be up there. And doing a little bit of research, zombified piglins will aggro around the player within a 67 by 22 by 67 all the way up to 111 by 22 by 11 area. So I don't want to be, if I'm AFK at this point, more than 22 blocks away from the zombified piglins. But they're not going to be aggroed on me. What? So here on my creative test world, this is my little plan. We've got a platform with some zombie piglins on it, and if I flick this lever, that deployer is going to spin around, it's going to fire snowballs, and that's going to anger the piglins, and they're going to fall down this hole. And they're not going to like it down there, and once they're angered, I can actually turn that off, because then they're going to get angered by this deployer. And that's got a sword on it, and that's going to drop us a whole bunch of goodies underneath there. And what that means in terms of design is that these deployers need to be within 22 blocks vertically of the piglins, but I don't. I can be further away from them. And because things won't spawn until they're at least 24 blocks away from the player, I actually want my platform up there by about 24 blocks. so about this height should be ideal. However, it looks like I'm making a magma cube farm rather than a zombie piglin farm at the minute, so this biome probably wasn't the best. In fact, I think that zombie piglins only spawn in nether wastes. So I made a good magma cube farm, and that's not what I wanted at all. Oh, jeez. Now, according to the wiki, zombified piglins will spawn in crimson forests or nether wastes, and I'm not near any of those, so I guess I've got some flying around to do. Well, it turns out if I'd have just gone north a little bit more from where I was, here's the map, here's where I am, that's where I built it, and that's our hole, then we've got some nether wastes all round here, which is ideal. So let's craft ourselves another waste stone, plonk that down here, call it nether wastes roof, and now we can hop back over here and destroy everything we've just built and move it over there. And that's easier said than done because of this lovely magma cube farm. Now, I don't know if magma cubes are affected by light level, but I've got another plan for that, and that involves talking to you about what mods I've added. See, last episode I asked you what mods I should add to this world, and there was a lot of responses. So let's start by talking about which mods that I'm not going to be adding. And that starts with a very highly requested one, which was immersive engineering. I'm not going to add that because it's not available for Forge on the version of the game that I'm playing. Destroy for create was also very popular, and I'm not adding that because that's in beta still, and it's basically got a lot of references to drugs and alcohol, which I'm not adding to this world. Likewise, any mods that include guns or war as their main theme, I'm not going to be adding to this world because I don't think that's appropriate for this Let's Play. Tinker's Construct was one that was recommended a lot, and I'd love to add that, but it's not available for this version of Minecraft. Create Dreams and Desires also looks good, but that's still in beta. And Create New Age, which I've actually tried to add to this world before, but it totally broke the world. The entire thing just became completely unresponsive, so I can't add that. And of course, I got a whole bunch of comments for Create Connected and Create Power Loaders, so a lot of you obviously watching Shalls. Again, both of those are still in beta. I don't need the Power Loaders one because I've already got Mod Loader on this pack, which is, well, more convenient than that one, and the Create Connected does look fantastic, but I'm not adding anything in beta because beta mods tend to break your world, or at least change a lot and then break things that you've done with them. But the mods that were recommended the most were Mechanism, which I've played before, I absolutely love, and I am planning on adding that to this pack at some point when we get into a more futuristic technological age. Add Astra, which takes you to space so that you can go visit all other planets in nice little spaceships, and I really want to add that, but that's a big part of the series that Mr. Beardstone and I are playing on our Create Astral series, so that'll have to wait too. And the mod that I got recommended the absolute most was Ars Nouveau. I think that's how you say it. And that is all to do with magic. In fact, I got loads of people requesting that I add magic mods. And good news, I will add it, but just not now. You see, I do this Let's Play in phases. We're currently on phase 3, and each phase has a different theme and a different idea. And I'm not planning on my magic phase for a little while, so you're going to have to wait for that one, but it does look like something that I'd like to add. So what mods have I added? Well, we'll get to that later, except for the Torchmaster mod. See, I can make mega torches now, which means that I can prevent mob spawning in certain places. And I can almost make those. I just need some diamonds and some gold. And the bad news is I'm completely out of diamonds, but I've got loads of gold. So I think I'm going to have to go mining. So there we go, after a little while I've now got nearly 3 stacks of diamonds. So we need diamonds, gold, wood and torches. Wooden torches? Yeah, torches made out of wood, mate. Easy. 1 mega torch, please. Thank you very much. And now if I pop this down over at our magma cube spawning thing, we shouldn't get any magma cube spawning, so let's just hop up to that little mini platform that I made, chuck that down there, and then just disappear for a minute. Hopefully when I go back, all those magma cubes will be gone. Ah, yes, they are. Good. Right, I can get rid of this platform now. So now we've got a big old platform in the correct biome, and we're actually getting piglins, which is quite surprising because because I've got a mega torch. Although I didn't put that down until the piglins had already spawned, so that's why that's there. Get off me block, you. And I'm currently just going around the edges of this, making it a little bit more circular. And it's not really going to be a circle, it's going to be more of a squashed square, but I think that's fine. Now, realistically, this platform's probably nowhere near big enough because the aggro range is much bigger, and I've only gone out 24 blocks in each direction. But before I start adding more layers and making it even bigger, I want to make sure it works. So now we've got a little hole for them to fall into. We're going to need a deployer in there. That's going to need power, which we can take from below. It's also going to need a smart chute below it and a smart chute so that we can filter it so that the sword that we're going to put in there doesn't disappear. And it's also going to need a chute above it. So we can throw on... Really? I've got a... Oh, I see. It's an advancement for another mod that I've added. Oh, geez. Okay, and then we can put the barrel up there.
set this into attack mode. And I got a handful of swords here that I can use. This one's got looting and sweeping edge on it. That'll be useful. I've got 3 of those. Oh, nice. Okay, and this one as well. Okay, well, we'll chuck all of those in there then. That's good, and they've all just fallen straight out of the bottom and gone all the way down there. That's why we need a filter. So we need to tell this filter, no swords. And then if I put that on there, and I put the swords back in the barrel, they're not going to pop out of there anymore. And just temporarily, we'll throw another barrel underneath there, so that if this thing does get any drops, it's got somewhere to go. So that's the killing system done, without any power, which means we now need the aggro system in place. I've got loads of snowballs already, so that's not a problem. Now, power-wise, obviously, if this thing's going to be directly over the center here, it would make sense for the shaft to go down there. But then that's going to get right in the way of our little killing system, and we don't really want the piglins to have to pathfind around that to get to the deployer. Will you stop? So we'll have to power this from above. And then we're just going to put the mechanical bearing down straight above that like that, although we are going to need a clutch on there so that we can on and off it. That should potentially work. One thing we need to consider is how we're going to push the piglins that end up in these corners here into that sword. Fortunately for me though, I do have a bit of biodiesel, and that works fine in the nether, so we can just push them towards it like that. And in which case it would probably make more sense if that deployer was in the corner rather than in the middle, unless I had 2 buckets of this. That should actually be close enough with the deployer there, because, well, it just will be, and if they land on these bits, yeah, I think that'll be close enough. We might occasionally get some stuck in the corners, but we'll figure that out when we get closer to that point. So that should be everything we need up here except for power. So we need to go and get some power. And where are we going to get power from in the nether? Well, I could pop myself a portal here and just have buckets of diesel actually just sent through the nether, and we could power our power station from that. Or like we've done previously, we could power things from lava on water wheels, because we don't need much power. So we'll use lava and water wheels. So let's chuck on some big old water wheels, throw ourselves on a speed controller, and now we've got power. And now that's all in place, well, we can test this thing. Now if I turn this off, let's get rid of that torch, go into free cam, hopefully we'll see a bunch of piglins start spawning up here. Oh, we're getting normal piglins, not just the zombified ones. Okay, what happens if I fly up to this level here? Oh, now we get a bunch. Oh, and a gas. That's a problem. If that gas shoots a fireball at our snowball machine, it's gonna blow it up. Oh jeez. Okay, right, let's just turn on the snowball machine. And that the gas is shooting me down here. Stop it. Turn it off. Free cam. Well, that fired fast, and now they're all going in. Is it working? Are they going to keep getting aggroed on that deployer down there? It doesn't look like they are. So turning the snowball machine back on, they are still angry at that, but they're not carrying that aggro across to the other piglins. Oh, they don't like me very much, and I've not done anything. Why do you not like me? What have I done? Oh, well, this might not be a problem. And the new one's spawning in and coming down, and now we're getting drop bears as well. But I bet we're getting a whole bunch of drops down there. They're all getting minced like I hoped they would do, so that's good. And yeah, look at that barrel. It's absolutely full of stuff. In which case, I probably just want a little AFK platform up here, because they're still managing to spawn in and get upset about it all. I just need to consider how we're going to get rid of the other mobs so that they don't fill up the mob cap. Magma blocks. And yes, I've got a little AFK spot just up here now, and it seems to work for the piglins at least. But before we start worrying about magma blocks, I want to tell you about which mods I've actually added. And why do I keep coming over here to tell you about these things? Well, it's not dark and dingy like the nether. So with the latest version of my mod pack, I've updated as many of the mods that I can, which means that my Embedium mod actually lost the zoom function. So I've re-added in OK Zoomer, and now I get that nice zoom effect. As we know, I've added the Torchmaster mod, and I've also added more villagers, which means we can get a whole bunch of different types of villagers with a whole bunch of new types of workstations. And due to very, very popular requests, I've added Create the Factory Must Grow, which adds a whole bunch of new blocks as well as oil and pump jacks and all of that sort of stuff, so we can fiddle with all of that at some point. And the final mod that I've added due to, again, great popular request is Alex's Caves, which means that underground in certain places there'll be huge caves full with a whole bunch of new mobs and new things to do, and that sounds very exciting. And that's it. That's all I've added. So yeah, magma blocks. And I'm hoping that this system over here has produced enough of us to start getting on with it. 31. That's really not going to cut it, is it? I've got 67 in my inventory, but that's really not going to even do a tiny bit of platform. So I guess I've got some nether digging to do. So I'm going to need this and this and this and this and this. I need to go back to the nether, and we'll go to our lava area this time. And I need to find somewhere where there's a whole bunch of magma blocks, and I don't think this is the right biome for that. Now, this area here is pretty much directly below where we're working upstairs, and the nether waste does have a lot of magma blocks around it. However, none of these areas are particularly good for putting down my machine. So instead, I think we'll do a bit of vein mine. So instead, I think I'll set myself on fire and do some vein mining. Now, this is pretty slow going, although I have already got quite a few stacks. But there's something else I can do. See, if I make a netherite diving helmet, I can actually go swimming in lava. I'm going to need netherite shoes as well, and a back tank. But all of those should be relatively easy to make. So a few minutes later, I'm now ready for the nether again. However, my back tank needs charging up. So I assume that means I need to plug it into something that's going fast. And this looks like it's going fast. Is that working? No. When placed, powered by kinetics, it collects pressurized air. Okay, I think I understand it. If I put that there with the shaft there and put that directly under it, there we go. Now it's getting charged up. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is there's no recipe for netherite diving leggings. So I'm just assuming that the normal netherite leggings are what I need, so let's find out. Oh yes, I can. I've reached the goal swimming with striders, but I don't have a jetpack now, which is quite annoying. Well, let's see if I can enchant any of these things. We obviously want unbreaking on them. When I can. And now these have got a bunch of different enchantments. We've got unbreaking, protection, and respiration on the helmet, protection on the back tank, and unbreaking, protection, featherfall, and soul speed on the boots. So I'm definitely ready for lava. So hopping back over to this area here, it's time to put on my back tank, put my jetpack safe in my backpack, and now I can go swimming in lava and grabbing a bunch of this magma blocks, although I can't see under lava. I still can't see? I thought you'd be able to see under the lava, and now I appear to be, I can't get back up again. Or was it just really deep? Yep, I guess it was just really deep. Okay, well, I guess we'll just stick to the surface then, but at least now we don't have to worry about getting got by the lava. Oh, look at all this magma, so much of it, and gravel. So now that my pickaxe is pretty much dead, and with my jetpack back on because I like to be able to fly, I've now got 3,372 magma blocks, and I think that's plenty, so it's time to go home. So I think rather than replacing all of this, because it's going to take me ages to dig it all the way, I'm just going to place all my magma blocks on top of it. So let's put some magma blocks in my offhand. Then if I just click there like that, there we go. We get a whole patch of the stuff. Excellent. There we go. The entire thing's now covered in magma blocks, and I've only got 239 left, so that was close. And if I need to extend this platform any, I'm going to have to go digging for some more. And I think I've decided that when I'm at this farm, I'm not going to use that deployery system with the snowballs to upset the piglins, because if they're going to be angered on me anyway, I might as well throw the snowball. In which case, in my AFK spot, I'm going to need some slabs around here like this, so that I've got a little window to throw the snowballs through. I'm also going to need a barrel full of snowballs, and considering I've got them all in my inventory anyway, I really don't need it. But what I am going to do is put a bow and some arrows in there instead. So let's get rid of the torch again, hop back up there, and see what happens this time. Are we going to get any piglins spawning? We are. Zombie piglins, they're all spawning in. Let's get a bow. Oh, do we still get drop bears? Now I just got to shoot one of them. There we go, I got one. And now they're all going to come over to me, go down. Oh, I didn't put the trapdoors down. Oops. I'm really good at Minecraft, guys. Right, here we go. Oh, they're already mad at something. Oh, they're mad at the drop bear. Well, that could be a problem. Thank you, Alex's mobs, for ruining gold farms for me. There we go, I got one. Now they're all going to fall in there and get minced. Excellent. Oh, this is good news. So far, I would say this is a resounding success. That's not ideal. Ah, stop it! You're breaking my AFK spot! Oh, Jesus, hardly any of it left. Stop it! Are you really spawning on the water wheels? Jeez. And after a few minutes of fixing things, I've now got a system where I can flip open the trapdoors, upset a piglin, that one's got some clothes on, and then close them again, and hopefully that means they'll still be aggroed on me, which they are, and hopefully it means the ghasts are not able to see me to shoot me. But they really should start getting aggroed on that deployer down there. Now the new ones are coming in. Yeah, look, they're looking at the deployer now, so they're angry at that. Oh, this is good. They're not angry at me anymore. So sitting here for a little while and watching this run, as you can see, we've got a big problem, and that is drop bears. We've got absolutely thousands of them, and I've done a little bit of research online, and I've seen quite a few people have had the same problem. These drop bears just ruin gold farms, and there really isn't anything you can do about it, except to turn them off. So hopefully now I've done that, none of them will spawn anymore, but I need to despawn these ones. And I also need to stop these piglins from spawning on these water wheels, which shouldn't be a big problem. But before I do that, let's just run away. So hopefully everything should have despawned by now. I can hop up back to this platform, stick a few bottom slabs on these water wheels to stop things spawning on there. So let's hop back upstairs. And hopefully we won't see any more drop bears on here. We should only see zombie piglins, the occasional magma cube, and there's a drop. What? And doing a little bit more digging, it turned out there was a config file that you could change that actually changed which biomes they can spawn in. So I just stopped them from being able to spawn in the nether wastes, and now we shouldn't get any more drop bears. We should only get zombie piglins, the occasional magma blocks, and a few ghasts. And hopefully that means this system is now working. As you can see, this seems to be working, and it's been running for a little while now, although I don't think it's as optimized as it could be, because we're getting quite a lot of ghasts, we're getting quite a lot of magma cubes, and they're not going anywhere, which will eventually mean that we're not getting any zombie piglins. What we haven't got, however, is any sort of storage system. Hopping down underneath this thing, you can see I've got a big old container that's collecting all of the drops, but we don't have any way of getting those back to the factory. So that's what I need to do next. First of all, what we need to do is get the items out of here and all the way down to the bottom. Oh, no, don't shoot me down here, thank you. No. Oh, jeez. No, stop it. Just die. Just die. Come here and die. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by the gas, what I was going to say is what we first need to do is get all the items out of here all the way down to the bottom. And I think we can do that with just some chutes. But before we start sending items down there, we should probably organize a system down here to actually collect them and deal with them. And that, of course, means getting out our storage drawers. So we'll start with the drawer controller. We're going to need a bunch of drawers for all of the different things. And we're probably going to want some compacting drawers for the nuggets as well. And that's not a compacting drawer. That's a compacting drawer. And if I'd have done these two the other way round, so the compacting drawers were on the bottom and the drawer controllers on the top, I can then just grab a whole bunch of chutes and just run those all the way up to the top. Here we are, popping out of that level there, and now we're just about up here, so we just got to sort of dogleg this round a bit, but I could really do with this container being in a bit of a better position. So now we've got a smart chute on there, which is filtering out all of these items, and they're mainly the ones we want to keep, but we are getting some more stuff through there as well. Mainly swords, but we are getting the odd bit of armor too. So, what? Protection 1 twice? Huh, I think that's a keeper. Right, okay, yes. Anyway, crushing wheels. That's what we need, which means we need more power down here, which of course means we need more lava and more water wheels. And after a couple of minutes of faffing about, I've now got a couple of crushing wheels coming down somewhere underneath this, so we just need to get items down there. So again, we're going to need some chutes, and we're going to need a smart chute, and we basically need this filter, but the opposite. So those, and those, all in there like that. Deny list tick, and we're going to put that on there like that, and then I'm just going to extend this vault over that, and that should allow all of those items to get crushed, and hopefully we're going to get mainly gold from that, but we might get a few other things as well. Let's put that there, and hopefully now, there we go, we're getting nuggets coming through from all of the things that are being squished. Wonderful. Now we've even managed to get some iron somehow, so I think we're going to need a few more of these storage boxes just in case anything else comes down here. Oh, I wonder, can I get those crushing wheels going any faster? 160? Not 170. Well, 160 is probably fine. So now I need to bring all of these items out of here, and I need to get those over to the farm. And that shouldn't be too much of a problem, because a long way down here, we've got that portal, which links back to the farm. But it is quite a long way. So I think the first thing to do to make life a little bit easier is to just delete this portal, and I'm going to just rebuild it up here. And hopefully this will still link up. Let's find out. It did. Excellent. Good. Let's just spawn-proof that. What I'm going to do now is get rid of all of this. And a couple of minutes later, we've now got track all the way down here. But that's not going to go through the portal because it's too steep. Really do with this portal in the floor. Do I really want to break any more obsidian? Yes, I do. You don't really, do you? No, not really. Sleeping bag down, move that around, try and pick it back up again. Boom. And there we go. Just 5 sleeping bags later, and we've now got enough space underneath that to put in the floor a little bit lower. So let's break it again. And we'll bring that across there instead. Relight the fire. And now my track should be able to go all the way into there and pop out through the other side. Amazing. So we're just going to need a train and a way of loading all of those items onto it, of course. And now we have ourselves a fancy little nether train. And this is going to be my driver. So, no, you're not going to work. I need to put some blocks down. Throw you that way. Get on there. There we go. What a wonderful little driver you are, sir. So now we've got a driver, we've got a train, we've got a track. Must be time to collect the items. Let's throw ourselves on a bit of trim there and a draw controller slave there. We'll have a couple of item drains coming out that way with a bit of casing and an interface on it. And of course, these are going to need some funnel, and they're also going to need some of those on there to stop things spawning on it. Now, if I just bring this track around here to link up with this, like that, we can get rid of all of these bits that we don't need. Pop this little chap on there instead. Get rid of all of this. And look at it, he's connected. He's doing a good job. So we need to put his little station just about there. Near the gold farm. Pick up. And look at you filling up with all of that tasty rotten flesh that I don't need. And the only thing I actually want to take from here for now are the nuggets and the ingots. That's all I want. So if I put that on there instead and spin those back around again, now we should just fill up with the things that I actually want. So now we just need somewhere to go. And it looks like the track's already coming through here. It's not really in the ideal direction, but that'll do. We get him to come back to about this point here. What we'll do is we'll dig a hole underneath this, stick an item interface there, and hopefully we'll be able to pull it out from the top there. So let's drive the tiny little nether train through that portal and see where it ends up and what we need to do in terms of spinning things around. And there he is. He stopped at the station. What a good job you did. Disassemble train. There we go. Reassemble train. Just need to move that slightly to there instead. And now that's connected. Wonderful. So now all of the items are going to come down here, and we can deal with those in here and get them sent straight into our storage system down there. In which case we'll have a bunch of trim on the top of that one. A bunch of trim on the top of there with the slave there. Some chutes coming through the roof. We just need to get them from there to there. How hard could it be? What could possibly go wrong? It's going to be a bit floaty for now, but that's okay. If we just stick a vault there, stick a chute on there, they're all going to go into there. We'll put one of those lovely brass funnels on there, and then they should hopefully all come down here and go into this chute. They are. Oh, that's wonderful. But just to make sure we don't have any issues with them just pouring off the edge, I'm going to actually put that chute there and put another one of those there. And now we've got a fancy system that's getting all of those tasty items out of the nether, which means we can produce a whole bunch more netherite. Oh, geez, we've got loads. Nice. So this guy needs to go to the Nether Gold Farm pickup, and he needs to go to the Nether Farm drop-off, and both of those we're just going to have him on cargo inactivity for 5 seconds, and then he should just go backwards and forwards between those two stations, picking everything up and dropping it all off. There you go. Look at his little hat that he's got. He's so wonderful. And now he's off again back over to the overworld. One thing that does mean is that this area needs to be chunk loaded. Let's just load both of those. So all that's left to do is just make this farm a whole bunch more efficient. And I know exactly how I'm going to do it, but it's going to take a while. As you can see, what I've gone for are some rings of magma block. The idea is that if the magma cubes spawn on here, they'll bounce off the edge rather than going to the middle and taking up the mob cap. And I'm not quite finished. I need to add in a few of these glass trapdoors to actually encourage the pigmen to step off that platform and land on the one below. And likewise, I need to do the same here. So what I'm actually going to do on the top layer is just bring that back a block so that they've got more chance of actually, well, deciding to fall off it. And those are the last few trapdoors to throw on there. We should hopefully be good to go. And there are a couple of other changes I've made too. My AFK box is a little bit bigger now, and that's just so that there's actually room for me to move around inside without accidentally standing on the warp plate. And if I go on the warp plate and go all the way down to the bottom, I can't actually see. Okay, we'll go to the top and fall down. You might already have guessed, but there's no middle section now. We've got this bit and the item vault and then the chute, and then the power just goes all the way down to the bottom, and everything's powered off these water wheels down here. So I don't have to worry about other little platforms and things like that. So I guess it's time to figure out if this is actually going to work, which means breaking my mega torch. There we go, hopping inside and seeing what happens. And hopefully we'll get some piglins. Oh yes, they are spawning. Let's get myself my bow and arrow and find one that I can actually shoot at. You look like a prime target, sir. I've shot that pigman. Hopefully, yes, they go. They're pathfinding over the trapdoors. That's brilliant. Hopefully they'll all end up down here, and hopefully they'll all get very upset with that deployer. Although they do seem to be focused on me, so I guess I'll just have to stand right here in the middle. But that seems like it's working. Now, I have just seen magma cubes spawning up there. They're not spawning on the layers below. Now, are these... Oh, they're angry at the deployer now, so they're not worried about me anymore, so that's good. Now, I was a little bit worried that with these rings we'd get slightly less spawns, but it looks like we're still getting plenty of pigmen. But for all intents and purposes, this farm looks like it's working. The gas shouldn't be a problem because they'll just fly off and despawn anyway. The pigmen are just spawning in nice and quickly. They're all ending up down in the hole. We're hardly getting any magma cubes, and the one we do get just end up falling to their doom. Oh, it's all working out rather well. I knew I'd get there eventually.